What's up, traders? 8 total trades today. We're a little bit all over the place today, so let's get to it. All right, traders, so don't forget to hit that like button. Discord link down in the description below. With that said, let's jump right into this. BLNK, this was our first trade, and in the moment, it felt like a pretty good trade, but the way that everything has played out, our trade looks pretty minute. It doesn't really even look like a big move, and it ended up being our first trade of the day, and I actually felt pretty good about it. Not the first entry, because right after we hit that thing, it did try to come down just a little bit, about 20 cents, and then ultimately took off. Liked our ad, actually even liked our second ad, and even this final ad. And but once we hit this final ad, I told myself we're just gonna get out at high of day. And to be quite honest, this didn't even get to high of day. If we take a look at this, 41.67, our cover was at 41.64 because I realized it was squeezing up to high of day. And the candle itself got to 41.66. So a little frustrating on that aspect because it never got there. And I didn't want to get, some slippage. That was really what it came down to. I told myself if I saw it going towards high of day, it's obviously headed there. We're just going to take it off so we don't get any slippage, and that's what we did. And then it literally just got stuffed right at high of day. You almost never see that happen. Usually it at least goes through and then comes back down, but in this case it got stuffed right at high of day. And as you can see, right when it got stuffed, it absolutely tanked. Right in this moment, as it started to tank, I was like, okay, I'm going to add my position or my size that I took off, because I only took off half of my size here, looking to recycle the shares because I still didn't feel like we got any kind of a real pullback, and I was looking to stay in this trade. I liked it, but at this point I didn't like it as much. So as it was coming back down, it just absolutely flushed. There was really no chance to add. It just pretty much came straight down. Waited for it to finally stop. Once it kind of got down here, I didn't feel like trying to chase the addition in around that 41 area, but it just broke right through anyways. And as you can see, we ended up taking half of the half that we had left down here at where our average was. Our average was sitting at like 64 or something like that. So this was basically taking these off for a break even on half, and we had already realized half of a loss up here as well. So then we were hoping that it would, fall over and can continue down, but as you can see, it consolidated here. It actually started to form what looked to be a little descending triangle. I started to get my hopes up, and on this candle right here, it was when I kind of realized it wasn't going to happen. I tried 41 or that 40-60 area again and got bought up, and then as you can see, it broke the top of that candle, and we just went up from there, and this thing has been trucking ever since. I even called in the Discord that this would be a good long right where I got out, because I felt like there was no way we weren't going to at least test high of day here. And then what it did after that, is completely up to who steps in and who doesn't. So that was BLNK. Over to our next trade, which we actually started while we were in BLNK, was NIU. This one was a little bit better. Didn't catch the whole move, obviously, looking at it in hindsight, but it went through that 30-50 area, got a nice extension, waited till we felt the top. It was around this 31.60 area. It came down. We actually had an order right over 31. It didn't quite get there, and we were messing with BLNK at this time, so I didn't even catch any of this move. As you can see, it bounced back up, and I told myself maybe this will be the sloppy seconds, and once I felt like it was, I added, and then I was just risking high of day, and as we came back down, we took our profits, and it did start to bounce here. You can even see it did come back up a little bit here through 31. Was not really looking to, or not 31, that was the low, right? 31.02, yeah, so through that 31.20 area after we got out. It felt like VWAP was there, the whole $1.31 was there. It was about half to move. Everything was pointing to, this is a good spot for it to bounce if it wants to. But unfortunately, this time it decided to go way down after the fact. So that's going to happen. Our next trade was, what was our next trade? AQMS. So AQMS, this one was kind of standard. We actually traded this one twice. So nice move, got short, it kind of consolidated here, and then we finally got the drop, and we had an order at 210, or was it 215? What was our entry here? Entry was at 225, so our take profit was at 215, and as you can see, this candle got to 217, and we got, what did we get our fill there? Let's see, the fill was at 218, so we got right off the bottom, we hit the ask, got out half of our position, and then hoping that this would continue to fall over. Did not. Got squeezed right back up to high day, and we took the other half off. And we didn't really like this move here, even though it would have worked. It came back down, tested previous resistance, used support. But on this move, I kind of liked it because it was a second move after it had tried to push up the first time, and you could just feel that it was a smaller move and it was less volume. So once we felt like that was the top, we hit it on the back side and just kind of rode it back down, and that was that. So that was good trades here on AQMS. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about this. We played it the best that we could. The theme of today really was every time we had an order out, it would come down and just bounce like right before it, and it was very frustrating. And that's what happened on NK, as you're going to see here in a little bit. And that was the frustrating one, which is actually our next trade. So NK. Here is where, I mean, we started, if we scroll out, you can see the previous resistance we were going off of. It curled up and made a nice little move. This actually rejected 17, and that was actually when we got in. We got in at 1666, and then it just kind of shot right up through 17 right after that, and we actually got a really nice ad here at 1759. Top of this candle was 1778, but it only came back down to 17. We had an order sitting there at 1695. And we couldn't get it. And as I was thinking about taking some off there, it started to get bought back up, and it just came back up, and I said, okay, we're just going to risk high of day. So we did the sloppy seconds thing like we did on the other trade, and we added here, and it came back down. I was actually feeling really good about this. Our average was at 1730, I want to say 1730. And we had an order out at 17, it was like 08? No, 1703 is where I had it. And it's close enough. And as you can see, this candle flashed down to 1713, didn't get below 10, and then literally got bought right back up. I mean, this all happened within like 5 to 10 seconds. It flashed down and then flashed right back up the high of day. So I didn't even really get an opportunity to get out underneath my average there. It just like flashed down, didn't hit my order, and then came right back up. So I missed our order by 17, so 14 cents. And then shot all the way back up the high day, taking us out. So that was probably the most frustrating trade of today, because this one could have very easily have been a winner, let alone break even. It was kind of a weird trader, and yeah, NK sucked. Onto plug, PLUG. This one was actually a long position. At this point, I was like, man, the longs seemed to be the ones working today, as I noticed throughout the morning. Everything was continuing for the most part, and this one made a really nice drop, a really intense move. I was looking, it had previous resistance here, it had VWAP, it had, it was just an intense move, right? It was getting away from the 9 a little bit, and I just felt that there was going to be a little bit of a bounce up into this 36 area, maybe looking for like a head and shoulders type play, which it did. It was just a little crooked, and yeah, that was really it. I mean, you can see I waited for the back end on this thing. I didn't hit it on the way down. I was waiting for confirmation that it wanted to go back up through VWAP and that $0.50. And once we did, I just kind of held on to it. And I took half size on that, so I wasn't really risking too much on this. And I was risking under this 35.19 area. And yeah, that was a long, which is rare. You don't really see me play those too much. And then on to something else that you don't really see me play too much, which was a penny stock. Brian actually alerted this in the chat because I don't have the penny stock scans up. And I pulled it up and I was like, man, this chart looks just like any other chart. And so I loaded up a little bit more shares because it was a penny stock, which wasn't too much more. I actually had 200 in the montage, and then I was like, well, I want to give myself some room to scale in if I can. But I was sitting here watching the price action. You could feel the FOMO just like on a regular stock. It was just a crap ton more shares. I mean, you can see this thing traded 450 million shares today. But I felt good in the trade. As you can see, we read the top. We felt the jiggle, just like on any other trade. We got short at 67. The top there was 68.7. And we got the pullback, just like we normally would. It kind of looks like a normal trade. Oh, I did get 200. I was going to say, I thought I did. So it was just two separate orders of 200. And then we got filled to 200 down here at 63. So kind of looks like a normal chart, right? So that was an interesting trade on OCGN. And then our last trade of the day was on IPV. And IPV, this thing went a little nutso. I actually tried to get short on this thing several times right in here, but the spread was really bad. So I kept trying to hit the ask as I felt the jiggle, and every time I would hit the ask, it would shoot it would shoot down, and then it came back up a little bit. I would try to hit the ask there, and then like each time I kept feeling like I was chasing it. And it doesn't look like much here, but this was at 1884 and pulled all the way back to 1840. So it was a 40 cents up and down, and I tried to get short up at 70, and then like at 60, and then like as it broke 50. And thankfully I didn't, because this actually all happened really fast. I was sitting here watching this, and it went from 1840 all the way up to 1984. I mean, in 5 to 10 seconds. It was really fast. And then we just felt the jiggle, loaded up our shares, took a short once we felt it. 1961, top was 1984. First sign that it was starting to bounce, we took half off. And as you can see, it did try to bounce, and it came back down. And we just tried to ride this thing out as long as we could. I really felt like we were going to definitely get this 1840 test. But when we got through 1840, it didn't really feel like too much was holding it up. And I definitely thought 18 was going to hold it a little bit. So I just front ran it a little bit, put an order out there at 1827. 27 is my favorite number. There was really no technical reason to put it there. I just put it there. And yeah, that was the trade there on IPV. So that's all I have for you today. It ended up being a red day. As you can see, the trade on NK and the trade on BLNK, those were two decent-sized losers. They were both right around quota losers. But we fought back, and we're only down about 0.66Q for the day. So I can't really complain. I mean, this BLNK trade, again, if we would have just let it stop us out at high of day and accepted the possible slippage, this would have been a pretty good trade, actually. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And then on NK, it missed our order by 14 cents on something that was moving well over 50 cents every couple of minutes. So just unfortunate with those two trades. So I'm not really going to, look into this any more than I have to. It was just two trades that didn't work out, and it was unfortunate how they worked out. So gonna keep on trucking along, and I feel like we're in a decent spot. Like, I feel okay in the trades. I don't feel like we broke any rules or missed any things that we could have missed, and we're just gonna move on. So that's all I got. Like and subscribe, guys. I always appreciate the support. If you do have any questions or comments, leave them down below or find me in the Discord, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.